For the Order of Oddfish is fantasy. And as it happens, fantasy novels are uniquely suited for marvelous library events. Great fantasy creates a world that the audience wants to live in, that makes the reader want to co-participate in that world's creation. It's only fantasy and science fiction, after all, that inspires fan art, fan fiction, and conventions where people dress up as the characters. Nobody dresses up as a character from a separate piece. We can connect with fantasy readers by encouraging this impulse to co-create. Here's some fan art I received from Kevin Buckaloo. Fantasy stories are naturally full of creatures, architecture, and mechanisms that beg to be drawn. It's the kind of stuff teen artists want to draw anyway. Start a fantasy book club with your teen artists. Every month have them read a different fantasy and create fan art for it. You can get a freelance illustrator or a teacher to drop in and give advice. But what to do with this art when it's done? Well, why not replace the covers of your library's copies of that book with the covers drawn by your teen artists? You can have a contest. Make the jackets of the winners, make dust jackets of the winners, recover those books, and set aside a special shelf for them. Everyone will want to check out the book that their friend drew the cover for. And you can take it beyond your own library. Your library's artists can connect with teen artists from other libraries with social networking sites like DeviantArt, and collaborate in creating online communities of fan art for their favorite books. This is Aznaf, the Silver Kitten of Deceit, and Ishtal, the all-devouring mother, who are two goddesses in my book, and we'll be seeing a fight between them later. But fan art doesn't just have to be drawings.
This is a stained glass window that somebody made. The Order of Oddfish of the tabloid-plagued foppish cockroach, Safino. In full effect.
There's also, up there, Shrinky Dinks I received of the Oddfish characters. Shrinky Dinks. I didn't even know they still made this stuff. It doesn't have to be just drawing. And as mentioned, one of the strangest, most satisfying pieces of fan art I received is this cake. It was voted the most creative in the University of Florida's Edible Book Contest. It's a scene where a giant fish vomits the Oddfish Lodge into Elder City. The whimsical images of fantasy are perfect for an edible book contest. Hunger Games. Remember the scene in Hunger Games when Katniss and Peeta are surrounded by genetically engineered mutant wolves that have the faces of the dead contestants, and they go on to rip the villain Kato to bits? I want to see that in the form of a flan. The music blog, Large Hearted Boy, has a feature called Book Notes, in which they invite authors to make a mix of songs for their book. I made a mix of the songs in the Order of Oddfish. The CD is in the swag bag that you're going to get later, and it has the explanations of why I chose those songs. Your teens can create soundtracks for their favorite books. You can post streams of these mixes on your library blog. If teens are musical or they're in bands, they can record their own songs inspired by the book and put them in the mix. Fantasy uniquely inspires co-creation. Take advantage of it. Or do live music. The library at Oak Park in Illinois has a program called YA Cafe. Each month they pair a YA author with a band. This month, I've been invited to read the Order of Oddfish and then play with my band, Brilliant Pebbles. There are more authors of bands than you might expect. Frank Portman of King Dork and Andromeda Klein is in a band called Mr. T Experience. He's playing at the Oak Park Library's YA Cafe as well. You don't have to rely on out-of-town bands. Every community has its own music scene. Bands are looking for places to play, for new audiences. Bring them into your libraries, and their audiences with them. Everybody who's been to a con knows that fans like to dress up as characters from fantasy stories. When I appeared at the Rochester Hills Public Library, Oddfish fans dressed as the characters Colonel Korsakov, Andalene, and the Cockroach Safino. Then they ran around the library in character, bullying people into attending my reading. Then they participated in the reading with me, performing their roles in the book. But most importantly, for all these ideas, take pictures and videos of all this fan art and put it on your library's blog. Then email the author about it. Most writers will jump at chances like this to connect with fans. We're not all super famous. I don't do anything all day other than refresh my browser, waiting for fans to pick an underappreciated book, like mine, and create an online community for it. The author will love you forever. Libraries have power. You can make a hit out of an unjustly neglected book. So let's bring it all together. Costumes, performance, fan enthusiasm. As two Chicago area 6th graders, Freya and Aaron, perform a scene from the Order of Oddfish. For those of you who haven't read it, probably almost all of you, it's about Jo Relution, a girl who lived for 13 years in the California desert with her Aunt Lily, a faded Hollywood starlet, ever since she was found in Lily's laundry room with a no warning she was a dangerous baby. It turns out that Jo was born in Eldridge City, a fantastical metropolis, but her birth caused a citywide emergency that nearly destroyed it, where a cult called the Silent Sisters believed Jo was a reincarnation of their doomsday goddess queen. So Jo was taken to our world. 13 years later, she comes back to Eldridge City, but incognito, where if she tells anyone who she truly is, it would turn against her just as they did 13 years ago. So Jo and Aunt Lily joined the Order of Oddfish, a collection of knights who research useless information, such as absurd weaponry or unusual smells, or the science of dithering and wasting time. Jo falls in love with Eldridge City. She makes friends with a group of vain, foppish, giant cockroaches. She goes on quests on armored ostriches. She fights duels and learns how to be a knight. But little by little, she is horrified to discover she is actually turning into the monster the Silent Sisters said she would. She has to find some way to stop this prophecy before it comes true. In this scene, Jo is about to fight a duel against her rival, Fiona. In Eldridge City, there are many rituals required before we fight a duel. The duel is fought on flying ostriches with flaming double-sided lances before an audience in an underground arena known as the Dome of Doom. Another ritual is that duelists must exchange ritualized insults and threats in the old classical style, while dressed up in costume armor as one of the 144,444 gods of Eldridge City. Freya, on my side, is playing Jo, who is dressed as the goddess Asnat, the silver kitten of deceit. Aaron will play Fiona, who is dressed as the goddess Ichbala, the all-devouring mother. Please.
Asnat, silver kitten of deceit, gaze upon my dread mouth and know the terror of your doom. For I am Ichbala, the all-devouring mother, and tonight your deceits shall be overthrown. Your silver fur gnashed between my all-masticating jaws.
I am Asnaf, silver kitten of deceit, and tonight my meow is your death sentence, my purr your despair, my litter box your grave. I have spoken.
Who can take seriously this idle braggadocio? Do you not know, Asnaf, that I shall gather unto myself thousands living scorpions and sew them into scorpion underwear? And then I shall force you to wear this underwear. And then, while you're being stung in the most unmentionable places by your own writhing, poisonous underwear, I shall also set that underwear on fire. And then kick you. I have spoken.
All right, that's it. I'm going to eat your children. I don't care if you don't have any yet. When you're in labor, I'll be waiting outside the delivery room with a knife and a fork. Avant!
Hark.
5. Alack. Eat dad! Forsooth! Ah!
Thank you very much. I assure you, you won't get that from your precious Neil Gaiman.